Imagine standing at your own wedding, surrounded by flowers, music, smiling faces, cameras flashing everywhere, and suddenly realizing the people who are supposed to support you the most are preparing to publicly fix you instead. Not congratulate you. Not celebrate you. Fix you. That's exactly what happened to me, and trust me, nothing prepares you for the moment your own family turns your wedding reception into an intervention. Not a private conversation. Not concern shared quietly. A full public intervention in front of everyone. Friends, relatives, my partner's family, people I hadn't seen in years. And the crazy part? They thought they were completely justified. But what they didn't expect was my response, because the version of me standing there that night was not the same version they thought they knew anymore. And honestly, that's what this story is really about. Not the wedding, not the embarrassment, not even the intervention. It's about what happens when you start changing your life and the people around you become uncomfortable with the new version of you. Now let me explain how things even got to that point. For most of my life, I was the person who avoided conflict completely. I said yes to everything. I let people cross boundaries. I ignored my own stress, my own exhaustion, my own mental health, just to keep everybody else comfortable. And eventually, that kind of lifestyle catches up with you. Not always dramatically. Sometimes slowly. You stop sleeping properly. Your energy drops. Your confidence disappears. You start feeling disconnected from yourself. And for years, I normalized all of it. I told myself I was just busy, that everybody feels exhausted. That stress is normal. Until one day I looked at myself honestly and realized I wasn't taking care of myself at all, physically or mentally. That's when everything started changing. I got serious about my health, not in an extreme way, not overnight, just consistently. I started working out regularly, eating better, sleeping properly, managing stress differently, setting boundaries. And let me tell you something nobody warns you about. When you start improving your life consistently, some people become uncomfortable. Not because you're hurting them, but because your growth forces them to look at themselves. Suddenly, the same people who ignored your unhealthy habits start questioning your healthy ones. You've changed. You're obsessed with routines. You care too much about the gym. You don't relax anymore. And at first, those comments bothered me. Because I kept trying to explain myself, trying to make everyone understand that I wasn't becoming arrogant, I was becoming disciplined. There's a difference. But eventually I realized something important. Not everybody benefits from the healthier version of you. Some people preferred the exhausted version, the available version, the version without boundaries. And once I understood that, I stopped trying to convince everyone. I just stayed focused. Now fast forward to the wedding. By then, the tension had already been building quietly for months. Every conversation somehow turned into criticism. If I skipped drinking alcohol at an event, it became a discussion. If I woke up early to train, it became concerning. If I chose routines over late-night chaos, suddenly I was too serious. And honestly, I should have realized something bigger was coming. But I didn't. Because deep down, I still believed everyone would set things aside for one day. My wedding day. At first, everything seemed normal. The ceremony was beautiful. The atmosphere felt good. People were smiling, laughing, celebrating, and for a while, I genuinely relaxed. I thought maybe all the tension had been exaggerated in my head. Then the reception started. Dinner was being served. People were talking. Music was playing softly. And then suddenly, my aunt stood up with a microphone. Now at first, nobody thought anything strange about it. People assumed it was another speech, maybe a toast, but then she said something that immediately changed the energy in the room. "We're doing this because we love you." The second I heard that sentence, my stomach dropped. Because I knew instantly this wasn't a normal speech. And then one by one, my family members started standing up, talking about how worried they were about me, how they thought I had become obsessed with discipline, how they believed my routines were unhealthy, how they felt I was isolating myself. Imagine hearing all of that publicly at your wedding. Now here's the part that hit hardest. They genuinely thought they were helping. That's what made it surreal. Because from their perspective, my boundaries looked like rejection. My discipline looked like obsession. My focus looked like distance. And honestly, I could feel the entire room becoming uncomfortable. Guests didn't know where to look. My partner looked shocked. Even some family members started realizing this had gone way too far. Now old me would have exploded emotionally, defended myself aggressively, maybe even walked out. But something different happened instead. I paused. And I know that sounds simple, but that pause changed everything. Because when you build discipline through fitness and health, you're not just training your body, you're training your reactions. You're learning how to stay composed under discomfort. And that ability becomes priceless in moments like this. So while everybody expected me to react emotionally, I stayed calm. I stood up slowly, walked toward the microphone, and the room went completely silent. Not dramatic movie silence, real silence. The kind where everybody suddenly realizes this moment matters. And when I took the mic, I didn't attack anyone. I didn't embarrass anyone. I didn't yell. I simply took a breath and said, "I know everyone here believes they're speaking from concern, but I need you to hear something honestly." You could feel the tension immediately shift. Because calmness changes the entire dynamic. People expect chaos. They prepare for conflict. But calm honesty? That catches people off guard. And then I said something I'll never forget. For years, nobody worried about me when I was stressed, exhausted, unhealthy, emotionally drained, and constantly saying yes to everybody else. The room got even quieter. Because deep down, people knew it was true. I continued. But the moment I started taking care of myself, setting boundaries, improving my health, and protecting my peace, suddenly that became the problem. Nobody interrupted, nobody moved. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. Truth spoken calmly hits harder than anger ever will. Then I looked around the room and smiled slightly, not sarcastically, not bitterly, just grounded. And I said, if discipline looks strange to people who are comfortable with chaos, that doesn't mean discipline is wrong. That line changed everything. You could literally feel the atmosphere shift. Because suddenly this wasn't an intervention anymore. It became a mirror. And people started seeing the situation differently. Now here's the part I'm most proud of. I didn't let the moment ruin my wedding. I could have stayed angry. I could have made it ugly, but instead, I handed the microphone back calmly and said, "Tonight is about love, not control. So let's celebrate." And just like that, the tension broke. People relaxed. Some family members looked embarrassed. Some looked emotional. But the intervention ended right there. Not because I won, but because I stayed grounded enough not to lose myself in the chaos. And honestly, that moment taught me something I'll carry forever. Your real strength has nothing to do with overpowering people emotionally. Real strength is staying centered when life tries to pull you out of alignment. And that's exactly why I always say, health and fitness go deeper than appearance. The gym teaches you patience, consistency, self-respect. emotional control, the ability to keep showing up even when things feel uncomfortable. And life will absolutely test those skills outside the gym. In relationships, in family situations, in moments where emotions run high. Because anybody can stay calm when life is easy. But when your own family publicly challenges you at your wedding, that's where your internal discipline shows up. So if you're watching this right now and people around you don't understand your growth, keep going. If your boundaries make others uncomfortable, keep going. If your discipline gets criticized by people who benefited from the old version of you, keep going. Because not everybody will understand your transformation. And honestly, they don't need to. Your responsibility isn't to make everybody comfortable. Your responsibility is to become the healthiest, strongest, most grounded version of yourself possible. And one day, when life puts you in a moment where emotions could easily take control, you'll realize every early morning, every workout, every disciplined choice built something far more important than muscles. It built stability, and stability will carry you through moments that would have destroyed the old version of you.